Howdy everyone, I'm the Gamer Raptor. Welcome back to another For Honor video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Medjay in For Honor. Now Medjay, he is another hero that is very complicated to play with in For Honor if you're trying to get into the game or trying to get into another character like him. I mean, he is a hybrid and he is very hard, and he also has a 2 combat mode system, and he is versatile. So in today's video, I'm going to break down everything in Medjay's kit, and I will break it down simply as best I can. And also later on in the video, I will show you guys combos on what I usually do with Medjay in game, and you can basically use these combos to practice with if you're wanting to look to just practice with Medjay more in training mode if you're wanting to. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first thing I really want to talk about with Medjay is that he is a character that has again, like I said, a 2 combat mode system. So he is basically a character that can transform, and right now we are in staff mode. As you see, he is basically holding a staff. The way he is staff mode. Now if we were to transform like this, you can basically get out of staff mode and go into axe mode. Now we will go a bit more into axe mode's moves later on in the video, but we're going to stick with staff mode for right now and go over it first, and then we'll go over axe mode. And the way you do transform is this: you hold back on the left stick and press X if you're on Xbox. That's really how you would transform. It's not that hard. Now if you're on PlayStation, you hold back on the left stick as well and you just press square. This is how you would basically transform from staff mode to axe mode. And you can transform back by pressing it again. Like, this is how you can really transform in and out of staff mode and axe mode just very easily. That's pretty cool. All right, next we're gonna go over Medjay's chains. Now Medjay has a chain pressure that you can do. It's an infinite pressure. So if you do like light, heavy, light, that's basically the pressure right there. Is light, heavy, light, heavy, light. That's really what you do for that infinite chain. Now I highly wouldn't recommend using this in duels in my opinion, because with Medjay, I feel like he's not the best when it comes to duels, but you can use this in Dominion against minions. So if you're on the battlefield and you want to clear B, you definitely want to use this light, heavy, light strategy for your infinite chain, and just use it to clear the minion lane. That's really what you want to use it for when playing with Medjay. Now if you're facing different opponents, I wouldn't recommend doing this against different opponents, because if they parry you, you're gonna end up taking a lot of damage. And also with the chain itself, you can end it on 3 if you throw out a heavy for the ender right there. That's when it ends if you throw out a heavy instead of a light. And also with the heavies themselves, Medjay has hyper armor on the heavies. So if you were to go for light into heavy, you mainly would get the hyper armor on the 2 heavies. So go light, first heavy, hyper armor, second heavy has hyper armor as well. Now the hyper armor is where you will see the white flash there on Medjay. You'll basically get a little bit of hyper armor there. Now for 2 heavies, you basically would just throw out 2 heavies, and that's mainly it, and you'll still get the hyper armor on that second heavy. All right, Medjay also has side dodge heavies as well within his kit. I honestly like to use these to basically throw off my opponent, or if I really want to, I can use it to just get around them. If they throw an attack out, I can use it to get around them and get some more damage. 14 damage is not that bad. And he also has a front forward dodge heavy as well, which does around 22 on top. And I would use this for mainly chasing someone that tends to run away. If you're playing in Dominion, use this for chasing someone and possibly getting some more damage and continuing your chain if you want to. Now how to do the side dodge heavies: you mainly move your left stick to right or left and press A and press RT or right trigger, mainly the heavy, and you just move it like that. That's pretty much how you would get the side dodge heavies. It's just moving your left stick to the left or right and pressing A and pressing right trigger afterward. And for the front forward dodge heavy, you just move forward and press A and pressing right trigger, and it will do the front forward dodge heavy for that chase. Now moving on to Medjay's next move, this is mainly his crowd control move. It's more of a knee, it's more of a grab and whatnot, and it does a knee to the head. So that's mainly Medjay's little special move right there, or just his crowd control move, if I say. So mainly he will just grab you, hit you with a knee, and it does around 20 damage. That's not bad damage overall, but at the same time, it can be a bit cheesy too. And what I mean by cheesy is where, well, in Dominion, you can play with Medjay and just literally spam this onto anybody, and you'll be able to just crowd control them and get some damage while your other teammates throw a heavy. That's how cheesy Medjay can be in Dominion. Like, he's kind of meta just for this, in my opinion, bro. Like, I don't know, just a lot of people just say that he's meta just because of just this one move here, and that's pretty much it, man. Now the way you want to do this is you want to move forward with left stick plus A and press X, which is the guard break button as well, and you'll be able to just do this little grab here. It's honestly just a bit cheesy, but at the same time, Still really fun to do, but I wouldn't recommend using it for ones, as people will tend to dodge it and you'll get guard broken from it too. So it's honestly better to use this in 44s, mainly in team fights. Alrighty guys, next we're going to move on to Medjay's moves in axe mode. So here we are in axe mode. Like I said, transform. All you gotta do is pull back on the left stick and press X if you're on Xbox. Same way with PlayStation if you want to keep up. As you see right here, we are in axe mode. Now there are a couple of moves that you can do in axe mode that are pretty cool for Medjay. So Medjay also has a bash in axe mode that is pretty cool, and you can also make it infinite by pressing light. So press light and you can continue doing this. Press light, bash, press light, bash, press light, bash. Like, that's all you gotta do. So all you gotta do is just press light and X. That's all it is. Light and X. Light, X. And there, you'll get the bash off like that if you're wanting to spam it. But in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend spamming it because the bash itself is honestly very detectable. Like, people will know when Medjay is throwing out his bash just from the movement, and they will dodge it and end up throwing out maybe a light afterward to interrupt you, or they'll just mainly dodge it and wait for you to slip up and throw an attack out. So with the bash, I would highly recommend using it. Sometimes, not all the time, but use it sometimes and mix it up sometimes. Just mix it up with different attacks if you want to. Alright, now Medjay, with his attacks, he does have a light, heavy type of pressure with his attacks, and you can just continue that pressure if you want to. And he does have an unblockable as his ender here. As you see here, is unblockable on all sides, does 30 damage. I honestly would recommend using this to just apply pressure if you want to and see what your opponent does. That's really what you would use the unblockable for, is to mainly apply pressure. And Medjay, as I said before, also has that infinite chain. It is still there even within axe mode. It's still there. You can still do that on unending chain there, but in my opinion, I wouldn't really want to do it, as you will again get parried even in axe mode. So you will want to use your moves wisely and just pressure them. That's really where I would use this, is to pressure your opponent and mix it up if you can. Alrighty guys, next we're going to be talking about the zone in both axe and staff mode. Now here we are in staff mode. Now the zone itself, regular zone, does 14 damage in staff mode. Now in axe mode, it does around 11 damage. It's not that bad. They're both really good zones to use. The zones themselves are really good for like pressure and to just control yourself within the battlefield. That way you just have some space. It's also good for spacing too. There are some characters in the game that also can use a zone for spacing, like Kensei for example, a really good choice for spacing when using the zone. Now with Medjay zones, they're basically good for damage, but it's not all that Medjay can do. He can also transform from staff mode into axe mode by pressing the zone 2 times, the zone button. Basically RB and RT, press that to do the zone, and you basically press it another time and you'll be in axe mode, which is honestly pretty awesome. I love this from Medjay, but at the same time, it can be spammable. As you see here, when I just spam this and I continue doing it, it's just literally this. And I have done this before to somebody. I've done it to a Shigoki before in Dominion, and I remember it. The dude was not happy with me, and he sent me a very message, man. But you can transform. You just gotta basically press the zone again, and you'll be able to transform. Now, can you do this while doing other chains too? Or doing other moves? Yes, you can. You can also throw out a heavy if you want to, and you can switch back into staff mode if you want to. Or if you throw out a light, you can throw the zone out, and you can also go straight into axe mode, which gives Medjay a lot of versatility within his kit to get other moves out. So if I were to go for lights into this, go into this, which is kind of stylish in a way, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, in my opinion, I would highly recommend using the zones sometimes, but try not to spam it too much. You can also use it, you can use it for pressure if you want to, but I would only use it for pressure if I'm on my last leg. If I'm on my last leg, I'll sometimes use it for pressure, and I will use it in my chains to mix it up and probably get something else out if I can. Like, I will do whatever I can to try and like survive if I can, dude. And also Medjay does have a taunt within his axe mode as well, which is pretty cool. I like this taunt. It's just a taunt. That's it. I mean, you can use it. You can use it sometimes in your mix-ups, but I don't honestly see the point for the taunts in axe mode. That's just me. Now here is Medjay's unlock attack here, mainly his running attack. It does around 24 damage. It's not that bad, and you can go into the axe mode itself from transforming it by pressing the zone. Like I said again, pressing the zone right after any attack, you'll be able to go into the axe mode or staff mode if you're in axe mode. Just mainly after any light, any heavy, or after your zone 2, you can go straight into your axe mode. Or even after this, you can go straight into your axe mode 2 after the bash. And this does count with side dodge heavies too. You can definitely go into that as well. And also one thing that I also forgot is that Medjay does have side dodge heavies within his axe mode, which does around 12 damage, not too bad. And he does have a chase in axe mode as well. This does resembles Wharton's chase attack as well, but it does around 16 damage, so it's not that bad either. That's pretty much it when it comes to Medjay's entire moves. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show a little bit of combos to help you with Medjay. That way you can possibly practice with them and get a bit better with him as time goes on. So here we go. All right, so for this first one, I'll let to go for light, heavy, into the zone, transforming into axe mode, and go for my bash, then light, then light. Mainly I would use that for a bit of pressure to start out and just go all in. That's mainly like the one, this is mainly the one that I would do for like pressure, mainly going for that zone into light and into light. I just really want that pressure off the bat. That's pretty much what I would want. All right, so for this one, I like to do light into heavy, light into zone, into bash, into light, into a heavy. That one's more of just another kind of combo that I will sometimes do. If I'm like in a very bad situation, I'll just do that. Only in bad situations, in my opinion. Only in like 4v4s, mainly. If I'm in a bad situation, I'll just use that. All right, so for this one, I like to go for bash into light, into heavy, and let the unblockable fly. That's another cool little combo right there that you can also practice if you want to. All right, so for this one, I'm going for light into heavy, light, transform into the zone, go for light, go for the bash, and go for the light. All right, so for this one, I like to go for light into heavy, feint that heavy, into the grab, go for zone, and go for light. Now for this one, I like to go for zone into zone again, basically transform into axe mode, feint that heavy, go for a heavy atop, let it fly on top. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for most of those combos. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of them. And again, these are just mainly good for practice, but if you want to use them for yourself, you can use them for yourself. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at the feats for Medjay, or just look at a build that I've made for my feats to make it work for Medjay. And we're also going to move into the gear perks as well and look at all the gear perks that Medjay has. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to basically go over my entire like feat build that I have done and made for myself from Medjay. Now if you want to look at all of Medjay's feats, I will have the link for the information hub down below, and it goes for gear perks as well. But let's go ahead and go over it. So I'm taking pretty much all of Medjay's tier 1 feats. So for his first one, Sunshine Strength is passive. After a kill, gain staff damage reduction, or axe an attack buff. So with the staff, if you do get a kill, you basically get damage reduction, which is really cool. Now for axes, you get an attack buff, which is honestly not that bad too, since I see the axe as being more of his DPS kind of style, and the staff itself is mainly a defense kind of playstyle for Medjay, which is not that bad. For the tier 2 feat, I have Moonlight Drain, which is a passive. On any melee hit, staff, it lowers opponent's defense, and axe, it lowers opponent's attacks. So mainly with the staff, if you do the grab that I shown, the one where he knees the opponent, or just knees them in the head, you basically lower their defense, and that is not that bad. That is honestly really good, and I have done this multiple times in Dominion. And the axes themselves, well, they'll lower the opponent's attack. Mainly you just have to bash your opponent and you'll basically lower their attack. Now for the third one, I have Scary Relief, which in staff mode, it will heal yourself and nearby allies, and now in axe mode, it will heal yourself greatly. So you mainly have two options. You heal yourself and your allies, or you just heal yourself, which is mainly from axes. Sometimes in axe mode, I will heal myself, which is honestly really good to just get some HP back. Now in staff mode, if I want to, I will be generous and basically heal myself and heal nearby allies as best I can, just a little bit, not too much. And for the fourth one here, we have Astral Manifestation, which in my opinion is honestly really funny. For staff mode, you throw a bomb and it does damage over an area, which honestly staff mode is not that bad. But axe mode, oh my gosh, for this fourth feat here, you throw axes for high damage, and I mean a literal high damage. Like there have been times where I would throw these as somebody, or throw the axes, and I would kill them like from just half health a bit, and it's just like, bro, what the heck? Like the axes themselves, when you throw them, they do a lot of damage. And honestly, love this fourth feat. It's really good just for DPS. That's really why I'm taking the fourth feat. Alrighty guys, now I'm gonna go over Medjay's entire gear perks, and it's just gonna be an overview of these gear perks. So here we go. For the first one, he has Radiant Rebound. Upon spawn or when revived, gain 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. For the second one, he has Remedy. Upon hero kill, heal plus 10 additional health. And for the third one, he has Feline Agility. When gaining a renown level, gain 4% movement speed for the first, then 2% for each subsequent level. And then for the fourth one, he has Supersonic and Revenge, gain 50% speed and uninterruptible sprint, persist briefly after Revenge ends. And for the fifth one, he has Clever Tactics, capture zone and use banner/offerings 15% faster. And for the sixth one, he has Rising Dawn, revive allies to 75% health. And for the final one, he has Rapid Refresh. Upon takedown or when reviving an ally, feats active cooldowns are reduced by 5%. There you guys have it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on Medjay's guide here. I honestly had a great time making this one. It was really cool, and I also got to play with my friends, which were awesome in Dominion. And what I can tell you guys, the best way to use Medjay is to use him mainly as like a support character if you're using him in Dominion, and also use him mainly for minion clear too. But if you're facing an opponent too, sometimes I would mainly use him just a bit to pressurize your opponent and to confuse them sometimes. Discombobulate them, confuse them, and to make them think on what you're going to do next. And I would also use his grab to your advantage as well. So use the grab to grab the opponent and have your teammates throw a heavy right after, and you'll be able to just have fun with Medjay. As I did with my friends, it was just amazing. If you do have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And also, if you want to join the Raptor Pack, you can join the Raptor Pack today by subscribing. And if you want to become a member, you can. The link for the membership is down below in the description. But with that being said, guys, I am the Game Raptor. Stay wild, everyone, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, peace out.